Hello students, my name is Thomas Webb and I'm pastor of the Buck Creek Baptist Church. I'm glad to be able to be with you today with once again, our Junior Achievement Program that's helping you to deal with career success. Now, we're on session number 6. Remember, we dealt with creativity and critical thinking. Again, the employer wants you to be able to think for yourself and think outside the box, being able to figure out problems. We dealt with communication, how you be able to work together, talk, deal with those things. Then we dealt with collaboration, working together as a team. Also, soft skills. Develop your soft skills, interviewing. Last session, we dealt with know your work priorities. Remember, we shared with you, you even did a little activity there within your group. And if you know your work priorities, you kind of figure out what is it you like to do. We're going to deal with some of that today. We're going to go into a little bit deeper with that. Being able to understand what your interests are, what your ability. So today we're on session number 6. Know who's hiring, high growth jobs. What does that mean? Well, let's take a moment to think about it. Explore career option. As we explore career option, what are you good at doing for a living? That's your skill. What do you enjoy doing for a living? That's your interest. And then what jobs are likely to be available? That's the job outlook and everything. So let me take a moment to define those. Skills is simply this: a person's talent or ability. So somebody might say, well, I'm really good at playing basketball. That's wonderful. That's great. I'm really good at playing soccer. I'm good at playing volleyball. I'm good at playing football. Those, you might learn some skills and you have ability, but you're probably not going to earn a living at that. So we're talking about earning a living, bringing in a paycheck, bringing in the money to provide for your family. Interest, a person's preferred activities and hobbies. Again, you might really be interested in the activity of ball playing, but that really may not be where you're at. So as far as you got to figure out what your skills is, what are you interested in, activity, and then job outlook. Job outlook is defined as a prediction of the future number of certain jobs based on current economic factors. So what does that mean? We're going to talk about that to help you understand where you're at, what you're going through. Know who's hiring. There are 2 things you need to do to have some control over the type of work that you will do as an adult. So remember these 2 things and you'll go a long ways. First of all, graduate from high school to keep the most options available. I graduated a long, long time ago. 1975 as a matter of fact. And graduating in 1975, we had students drop out. Maybe when I was a freshman, we may have had 50 or 60 students. When I graduated, there were 36 graduates. 27 of them were girls, 9 of them were guys. You said, what happened to them? Some of them just went to work. Some of them went to work at high school. You didn't have to have a high school education to be able to go to work. You could start to work public work when you were 16, 17 years old. So some people went right to work. Now also what we learned is some people are going to be farmers. I lived in a farming community. And so some people said, I'm just going to farm all my life. My dad was a farmer, my grandfather, father. I'm just going to farm. And they needed help on the farm, and that's what they did. So you have to be able to, in today's society, you need to graduate. You need to graduate from high school. Put forth the effort to finish. Number 2, research, research, research. What does that mean? Explore career requirement, and salary. Take a look at it. What do you like doing? That's what we're going to talk about. Who's hiring? You know, what is best type of job for you? Let's look at skills, right? When we look at skills, we're talking about what are you good at? Each job that you have will require specific knowledge and ability. It doesn't matter what it is. You're going to preach, be a pastor, you got to have certain skills. You got to have certain knowledge, certain interest and everything. If you're going to work in a factory, you're going to be a construction worker, you're going to be an electrician, you're going to be a plumber, you're going to be a beautician, you're going to be a nurse. They all take different types of skills and knowledge. Generally, there are 2 ways to gain skill: education and training and experience. Now, some places today, I know Kimberly Clark is doing that, some others, that they provide you an education while they're training you. And so you sort of get hired in, and you're sort of like a temp worker, but you also are working, making money, you're on-the-job training, but you're also finishing your education. So some need the education, and then some the training and experience. Employers will look at applicants' specific education and experience while deciding who to hire. So, for example, if your dad's been an electrician and you say, I want to be an electrician, and I've been watching my dad, and I've been helping my dad, then that's probably a good career to go into. And people look at it. That employer is going to be able to look at it and say, you know what? Your dad, I know him for years and years. He's a good electrician. I know you've probably been around him a lot, and that's going to help you out, all right? But what I'm simply saying to you is that there are employers will look at what your background is. They'll look at your knowledge. They'll look at your education. Let's think about interest. What do you enjoy doing? Not whatever your skills are, but what do you really enjoy doing? Because it's one thing to have a set of skills. It's another thing to really enjoy doing what you're doing. Why is it important to consider your interest when choosing career? Well, here's why. I believe it's very important because you're going to have to do it for a long time. Most people aren't going to work just a couple of years and they're quit and make enough money. It doesn't work that way. Most of the time you're going to have to work till you're 65 or maybe 60, or you're going to have to work for a while. So since you're going to have to do it a while, you might as well enjoy what you're doing. Now, I enjoy preaching. They're part of the ministry that I don't enjoy. There's part of meetings and there's part of activity, things that I have to do in the administration part that I'm not really good at, that I'm not very good at. But I enjoy preaching. Now, I'm not saying I'm the best at it, but I enjoy studying. I enjoy trying to help other people. So I'm interested in it and everything. The question is, are your skills the same as your interest? What do you prepare? What have you worked at? What are your skills, but also interested? Let's talk about job outlook real quick. When choosing a career, explore industries with many job openings expected in the future. These are called high growth jobs. You will hear this over and over and over again. For example, in Owensboro, Davis County, one of the high growth jobs is going to be in the nursing field. It's going to be over at Owensboro Hospital is one of the biggest employers over there. U.S. Bank is another big employer. There's a lot of others that perhaps some of your family works at factories that are, got a lot of jobs and everything. But those high growth jobs, you just be able to look at it and say, there's always going to be opportunities there. Why it is important to know which job can be in demand in the future so you can make an informed decision about whether to invest in that career. So when you're thinking about that, you want to be able to stop and think about it. Hey, what is it not just now, but it's going to happen in the days ahead? What is it that something's going to last for a long time? Again, healthcare is one of those areas. Education. We're all going to always going to have schools. And so education also may be one of those. Also realize the job outlook. Some careers may seem glamorous and interesting, but openings may be limited and jobs difficult to get. Examples are influencers, professional athletes, actors, etc. So here's the deal. You say, man, I really want to be a baseball player. There's not a lot of baseball players, all right? I mean, you take the number out here in the little league compared to what ended up going to college, compared to what ended up professional, it's just not a lot. So you have to figure out what is important. Here's the deal, research. Understand it real quick. Research various jobs to understand what will be necessary to be successful. Research the job outlook in advance because it can vary greatly from profession to profession. So it changes. So you got to do research. And then visit the Bureau of Labor Statistics at www.bls.gov for detailed information on many jobs, including job outlook, education. So they'll help you understand what it is now and what's happening in the future. Let's think about it real quick and review. Be sure to consider your skills and interests and the job outlook before choosing your profession. Think about it. What do you like? What are you good at? What are you interested in? Maintain a list of jobs you can come across that match your interests and skills. You can research. In the next session, you'll explore personal brands and how to market yourself to future employees. You'll see your activities. Thank you so much for watching this today. May God bless you.